So, welcome to Coffee with Stuart. Who do we have in the coffee house today? Janet?
Yes, Stuart. Janet Preez.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's really lovely to engage in this conversation.
It's fantastic, all the way from South Africa.
That is correct. I'm sitting in Johannesburg, South Africa. It's winter here, and 9 o'clock in the morning, no, 10 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Yeah, it's amazing how we can communicate with this fantastic technology.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's wonderful.
So let's just have a couple of quick questions about who you are and what do you do?
Super. So let me kick off with who I am. As I said, Janet Preez from Johannesburg, South Africa. I've recently started calling myself not the MD, but the master dreamer of engagement dynamics. Although I'm currently completing an MSc in the management of technology and innovation, which is an absolutely stunning business degree, the work that I do really taps into a very transdisciplinary road that has brought me to where I am. I first learned about the management of complex dynamic systems when I completed a BSc nursing degree in the 1980s. I still reference what I learned about well-being and systems almost every single day in the work that I do. I followed my basic degree with a psychology specialization, and I learned there to understand people holistically. I came to appreciate the deep and sustainable change involves practical, social, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual engagement. I learned about creating environments in which people make choices to act differently without anybody forcing them to do so. And I learned that everything speaks in an environment. Several years later, through quite a journey, I fell in love with business. I got to understand both the mechanics and the dynamics, and thrived as I learned to navigate the complexities, changes, and conflicts, which are an inherent part of solving very big problems. So, armed with a nursing degree, a good dollop of managerial leadership experience, and a much bigger dollop of wisdom from a very large library of leadership books, I stepped into consulting in 2007. Honestly, without a clue, really. It's been 13 years since then, and I'm very grateful to say that an awful lot of growth has happened in the interim years.
Fantastic. That's terrific. So tell us how you can use all of this growth to help us.
Right. So before I get to how we help other people, I want to tell you just a little bit about the company. So Engagement Dynamics provides customized, project-based, and very integrated consulting services. We offer leadership coaching. We offer some very interesting and stunning and relevant training programs and organizational development interventions. And I'll try and explain those words a little bit later when I get to that question you just asked, Stuart. Why do we do it? Well, we do it to support astute leadership of organizations that are really reeling from the massive disruptions that are rocking our world currently. Who do we do it for? We are most effective working with leaders from mid-level upwards. And whilst we are still working mostly in Africa, we are beginning to put our toes into the waters of the US and the UK. I would really love to talk to leaders who want to become more effective moving into the next decade, or those who want to develop outstanding leadership in their senior and mid-level leaders and teams. All of our work is premised on the oneness or the rareness of people. The fact that every single person is a completely unique, integrated, physical, social, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual whole. We believe that really great leadership begins with truly understanding yourself and other people. To this end, the people that we work with usually complete a Gallup-Clifton Strengths Finder assessment. And wherever possible, we also include individual or team coaching in the work that we do. I've personally also developed a number of really useful thinking and sense-making frameworks. The latest is our Astute Leadership Framework. This provides an excellent overview of the skills that are required by leaders right now and into the next decade. We use our dynamic engagement and astute implementation frameworks to assist leaders to explore and understand their own organizations and to chart a course to increase strategic engagement and to ensure that business progress is supported by a healthy, aligned organizational system. Our astute design process is especially useful in a time when so much has got to be redesigned. Engagement Dynamics, to sum all that up, is a lean virtual organization. We have handpicked outstanding collaborative partners who form our virtual teams and supplement our offerings with additional services and solutions. We offer both customized and off-the-shelf solutions to connect and engage people meaningfully in an increasingly global context. So to your question, Stuart, how can I help you? That's a lot of jargon and there's a lot of terminology in there that people are not really familiar with. When I say I'm an organizational development consultant, most people look at me like I'm talking Greek. So what does this really look like in practice? In ordinary words, our work varies a lot from one client to another. Firstly, we coach individual entrepreneurs and business leaders, usually on the foundation of a strengths assessment. This is particularly enjoyable work for me, and our clients really, really love it. Usually they'll have a specific reason for wanting coaching. Perhaps you're an executive wanting to figure out your next career move, or maybe you want to know how you can lead your team more effectively. Possibly there's a millennial rising star out there who wants to study and has no idea how to make that happen or even what direction they need to move in. The work is much more varied when it comes to teams and organizations. Here our leaders often tell us what they want to be different within their organizations, and we figure out how to help them make that happen. This might mean working with a team to figure out what their strategies should be, how to fix their processes so that people are less frustrated and that work happens more efficiently. It's meant working with a leadership team to design ways to make sure that everyone in the company is focused on great partnering. And it's also meant working permanently with a team to constantly support improvement in all of their interactions and their collaborations. In addition to these bespoke and personalized services, we're actively converting much of the work which we've done in the past into truly beautiful, irresistible, and useful transformative programs, most of which we're going to make available online. We've just launched a stunning program which we called Astute Woman. It was an online workshop designed to encourage, inspire, and to connect women across the globe while still developing their 21st century leadership skills. We hosted the most amazing collaborative event on the 14th of August with incredible guest speakers, provocative art pieces, and deeply engaging breakout conversations. We had amazing feedback about the level of intimacy that we managed to create, and participants are hounding us honestly for more. The 4-module Astute Leadership Program, which we're launching in the last quarter of 2020, will be a game changer for current and aspirant leaders, focusing on skills such as collaboration, critical thinking, listening, empathy, strategic design, and understanding digital language, all skills that have been recognized as critical for 21st century leaders. So let me wrap all of this up. I was really deeply honored last week to be described as a world-class connector of people. This meant an incredible amount to me because that's really what drives me. I want to facilitate people coming together to solve really big problems and make the world a better place.
That is fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, I thought it was quite interesting that you mentioned listening. You think people do listen every day, every second, every minute, but actually listening is a skill to be learned, isn't it?
Very much so, Stuart. I think that was something I learned back in my psychology days. It's the most, in my opinion, it is the most critical leadership skill. It's the most critical personal skill. When we listen to people, we make them feel validated. We we pay attention in a whole different way. And I think for me, listening goes beyond just hearing with my ears.
Yeah.
It goes to the whole sense of awareness that I have of every aspect of my world.
Yes. I mean, you've obviously been in lots of conversations with people, and you know that that person isn't listening to you. They are ready to pounce on you with their next thought. They haven't actually listened to what you've said. They are already preparing their next sentence.
Yeah, it's so true, Stuart. And I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody of doing that. I'm proud to say that in the last while, I've on several occasions said to people, I'm sorry, I can't remember what I was about to say because I was really listening to you. You know, those thoughts pop into your head, and it's helpful sometimes to be able to let them go.
Yeah.
And to really deeply engage with people.
Yeah, and it's so true that you just think, oh well, listening's listening. It's as simple as that. But actually, it's a skill to be learned and to be honed and understood. And if you don't understand what listening is, you haven't got a chance to improve on that.
One of the most interesting people and influential people in the world of organizational development where I function is a man by the name of Peter Block, and he's an older man. He's a very seasoned practitioner. And I was once in a workshop that he was facilitating, and his instruction to us when we went into our groups was to not try to help, but to ask curious questions. And if there's one little lesson for people in terms of how do you become a better listener, ask more curious questions. It's what you're doing with this little clip of yours, Stuart. You're asking curious questions, and you're doing an amazing amount of listening.
Well, that's fantastic. I take that as a compliment coming from you. Thank you very much. So it's just a very quick interview, as you know. It's just 10 minutes. So we know who you are, we know where you are, and what you can do to help us. But just a final question would be, what's one of your tips? One of your sort of major tips for success?
I was struggling to come up with one, Stuart. Before I go there quickly, I just want to say that for your listeners, I'm very, very happy to offer a 20% discount on any individual coaching. A lot of people at the moment are needing to explore their personal strategies, their business strategies. They are rewiring their whole world. Yeah. And so we're doing a lot of strategy coaching. Not only that, I'm very, very happy to offer a 20% discount to your listeners. And also our Astute Leadership Program. Bookings are open at the end of August. And we will, as I said, the program is going to launch, I think it'll probably be in November, but we are already starting to take bookings and open things up to people. And early birds will get that 20% discount, and obviously yes. I'll give you the connection details for that.
That's
so
fantastic.
The final question, I've got them all in front of me, but I'm going to settle on Winston Churchill, who said, never, never, never give up.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, it's terrific and very true. I mean, so some of these clients may not actually realize that they need your help at the moment. So a sort of situation, if somebody's sort of a bit stuck, they're not very sure what's going wrong or what isn't moving yes. forwards, you would speak to them and give them a kind of introductory assessment.
Absolutely, Stuart. I am always delighted to have those kind of conversations. I've honed my skills of answering curious questions, and to be able to have a conversation with people so that I can really understand what the challenge is and how best to assist. Absolutely. I've regularly had whole hour conversations with people just to do that, and it's a free conversation. And if I can't help, I have an amazing network of other people who can. So
that's fantastic.
I'm a resource. I'm a resource of resources.
You can direct people to somebody else that can help them
yes.
if necessary.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
So you've got a whole library of resources there that can help people. I think it's a fantastic. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that they're stuck, and they don't know who to turn to next, and they just need someone to speak to, just to figure things out. And I think your program will be quite amazing. What I'll do is I'll put your contact details down in the notes. People want to contact you, they can contact you directly. And I think basically that wraps it up for us. I'm going to say thank you very much for coming on Coffee with Stuart, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.